Kia ora koutou. Good morning, everybody. Rawiri, would you like to turn on your video so we can see you?
Yes, I will. Sorry about that. Start video and
Awesome.
I'm alive.
Cool. So, my name's Asher Anderson and I'm up here in the beautiful Bay of Islands and making another meaningful conversation. And today I'm here with Rawiri Love, the founder of the Smiley Campaign. So some of you might already know him from his amazing work that he's done up here in Kaikohe, and yeah, just promoting love and good vibes and all of that. And there's some genuine wisdom that comes behind the knowledge, behind the power, you know, of bringing out people's smiles and love. So welcome to you today. Really great to be here with you, Rawiri.
Kia ora.
Yeah, cool. Well, I thought it might be good. Would you tell us just a little bit about the inspiration behind the Smiley Campaign?
Okay, well, with a smile, you can change the world.
Yeah.
And okay, it's the other feature is smiling actually strengthens the immune system. It uppies it. And we have to be mindful at this time, without any chemicals, boy, do we need coffee in the immune system. So something so simple as smiling and would make a difference. And I would take the message of friendliness, MANAAKITANGA in Māori, which is all about compassion, and KOTAHITANGA, which is all about oneness. So that's all about being on the same page and that. And it would start in a small township that was really put down by media. And that was found in Kaikohe, a township that, you know, it always highlighted the fact that some of the shops didn't have tenants and stuff like that. And they always highlighted the negatives. So the media sadly gave it a bad rap. I decided there are stories to be found in a township of 4,510 people. There's stories to be found everywhere. You just have to find them. But I wanted the organic stories. I wanted the ones that are just down to earth. And, you know, so I would find stories like a chap that was one night cooking sausages in the main street. And he was, you know, sausage sizzle, and he's handing them out to people as they would go past. But it was about 10 o'clock at night. And I said to him, why are you doing this? And he said, I want to show charity. That's the spirit that can bring transformation. And I said to him, but it's late. And then he said to me, I'm here because I want to do this. And so I said, stay there, I'm going to grab my camera. So I got the camera set up. I went to my office, grabbed the camera, set it all up. 58 views later, it really got attention. Now, this is an interesting part of that story, because there was one chap that wanted a sausage sizzle, but he was across the road and he couldn't cross the road. And I was going, why can't he come across the road? Because he obviously wanted a sausage sizzle. And it was because he had a bracelet, a security bracelet. So it was obviously on remand and wasn't allowed to cross. So we had to do things like take him sausages. And, you know, people, they were driving past, and then, of course, with me there, I waved them all down and said, hey, bring it on. And so they would stop. And then we had a party on the main street at 11 o'clock. It didn't finish till after midnight. And it went on video. And everybody loved it. And that was really the launch pad of Smiley, because, and so I was taking happiness. And now, of course, I'm in the largest city of New Zealand.
That's right.
It's not different. Today, I feel that the Smiley had to morph. And why? Because Friday concerns me. Yeah, we're going to be a segregated nation. And I could not allow my skills in media. I'm well known here by the MPs. They all want to selfie with me, whether it's the mayor, you name it. And even our Prime Minister, she sent me an email from her office thanking me for the work that I'm doing with the bringing happiness to the city. But the subtlety is within a happiness, you can convey a message. That's the secret to it, because I think we've got to be wise. We can get out there and protest, but there's a way of protesting, and it's clever, if I may say. No disrespect. And so I would find that, and so that's where the Smiley is today. So the Smiley today is about equal rights, standing up for the underdog, standing up for the ones that are going to be, look what's happening. Look what's happening on Tuesday. We've got a demarcation happening in our country. And that concerned me. So I thought, I was lying in my bed and I thought, I can't just lie in my bed and do nothing. I have to do something about it. So I decided the Smiley Man's going to use his giftings. And I'll tell you what, I'm in government, because they know me well, they're not pleased. They sort of basically have got that attitude. Smiley, what are you doing, batting for the opposition?
Yeah, right. Because a lot of people are just falling into line, aren't they? Just, following the story, and there's not many, notable people, celebrities, actually speaking out on these issues. So
that's right. But, you think about it now, this is the concern. Andrew Little, I watched him yesterday. He's been interviewed, and it was on Ryan from AM show. And this is what Andrew Little said. I couldn't believe it. Ryan said, okay, we're going to go in this traffic light system. It's going to be, traffic light system, passes and all that sort of thing. And now going to the bloody movies is a chore. And he said, if I have 40, you have 40 people over on Christmas Day, etc. And Andrew Little said, make sure they're all vaccinated if they're your family. And then he said, they're not welcome. That's amazing. He said this. Now, listen to me. You can hold me to account. I'm not full of bull. I'm the real deal. And then he said this, and he said, scan the vaccination passes. He said, scan them. And I could not believe it. And I thought they're bringing a demarcation when government interferes with family and starts. Now, you've got to remember, the word is, now listen to me on this, justification. They have justified segregation. Whoa!
Yeah.
Have you imagined?
Right. It flies in the face of all of this, they are us, we are one, well-being and kindness, ARHOA. All of these values that our government has tried to market themselves on.
Well, you and I know that spin.
Yeah, well, clearly it is.
In the rhetoric of media, now I'm going to say this, you've got the rhetoric of media, you've got to read and pick up the tone, and you've got to really look at what's being said, the way it's been said, and what was their intentions. So you've got to do your due diligence. I could see it way back at you could see it was there. Yeah, and I'm concerned now, because where are we going to end? If they could condition this nation into getting a passport, making it so that there's so much animosity out there, going to the bloody movies is a chore. You've got to have a vaccination pass, then you've got to show your license, ID, then you've got to have 2 seats distance between you. You've got to have your mask on. And it's like, we're going to see James Bond.
That's right. And there's no end date, there's no end in sight to all of this. And that's one of the things that gets me when you're rolling back people's human rights, their basic human rights, and you're violating them, and you come at it with a justification, but there's absolutely no end in sight. I mean, it's just totally unacceptable. That there is no justification. It's this is no longer about health.
It's abuse at the highest level. Now, this is interesting. We have to create, this is the metaphor, we have to create a vision within the vision. a methodology within the methodology. We have to come up with a now, okay, I'm the worst businessman in the world because what I'm doing is I'm getting bloody t-shirts. I'm getting t-shirts done. You know, I'm getting stickers done, and okay, to get them cheaper, you buy them in lots of 100. So this is what happened. I mean, to get this t-shirt here, which is all about unity, love, all that sort of scenario, KOTAHITANGA. KOTAHITANGA is a very powerful word for now, because it's about oneness. Well, we're not getting KOTAHITANGA at the moment. So this is what I've done. That somebody contacted me yesterday and said they want $200 worth of stickers. And I said, well, that's 16 stickers. And I said, having said that, I said, you've got a choice. You can have 12 stickers and koha us. And they said, I want 12 stickers because I want to support the vision you're doing. Hear what I'm saying? Then I went on my account and there's $100 from somebody else. You know what I mean? There's $20 here. There's something like that. So what's happening is, what's happening is that, because I know this. Now you may say, what's the science behind it? Everything's got a science. Okay, this is how it is. We're in adverse times. We're in times in which there's uncertainty. So as a movement, Smiley Campaign and the program we're running at the moment, which is equal rights, which is what Smiley is all about. Happiness, treating people with respect, you know, loving people, cuddling people, doing all sorts, you know, you know, so the thing about it is this. There's uncertainty. Now, it's in a climate of uncertainty. If you can bring an emergence of certainty, boy, they'll look to you. So what do? You do something absolutely stupid as a businessman. You go to sleep one night and you wake up and say, I'm going to sell everything at cost. And I'm going to say to people, you can give a koha on top of it. And if you give a large koha, it will help those ones that can't afford.
That's right. Yep.
You see what I mean? And so there'll be ones that can only afford, you know, they'll just pay what we get. So we don't even make a sense of it. I'm the biggest flake in New Zealand. I am absolutely a failure when it comes to being entrepreneurial, being suave, you know, and knowing this, but it's already working. Now, why? Because of the time. Everybody wants certainty. So if you can come up with integrity, if you do something outlandish, wild, off the wall, something out there, then they'll look at you. Do you know, yesterday, when we were down at Sylvia Park, my wife and I were walking around with our t-shirts, and this is what literally happened. Everybody in the stores was saying, I want one of those t-shirts. And then they said, what is your message? So I felt like an evangelist. I was having to preach to every shop that I was going into because they kept on saying, what is your message? And I said, KOTAHITANGA. But this is what I've been doing. And I'm a bit naughty, okay? Every shop I walk into, I said, if I'm unvaccinated, would you serve me?
Yeah. How's that going? What kind of response are you getting?
They're looking at me and they don't know what to say. And sometimes, and I will be candid, sometimes I end up in arguments.
Yeah,
but
sure.
But you know, this is a premonition. And I say this, believe me, somebody is with us. I had a premonition there would be officers and they would monitor what's happening with the stores and the lights. And they will, you'd say, okay, hypothetical. I walk into a store, I'm unvaccinated and I get a product. And then the officer, who's in mufti, very subtle, goes up to the counter and says to the teller, did he show you his vaccination pass before you served him? Can you imagine this? And
it's a parallel universe.
this is what happened. And then he says, oh, no. And he said, where's your manager? And then he says, here goes the notice. This is a warning. Next time, you're fined $15,000. Now, hey, this sounds like, is this Russia? Is Smiley talking about communism? No. Is this China? No. Oh, dear, bacon. Oh, dear, New Zealand. ARHOA. Now, so, therefore, the bill that's been gone through, that's urgently put through, clause 9 and 10 said this. It said, because a friend of mine, he sent me what was in the bill. And clause 9 and 10 said this: there will be officers, they won't be policemen, and their role is to scrutinise what's happening in the areas of vaccination passes.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine it? A Baptist pastor. I mean, gosh, look at me. I'm full of this stuff. I'm an advocate of it. And a Baptist pastor had received notice, and it was said to this Baptist pastor that he wasn't vaccinated. So they said to him, you'll get a fine of $15,000. I watched the video. It's on my page. I've got to watch what I put on my page, because now I'm going this way. You see, I'll be honest, I was nice before, but look at me now, I've become a bit of a radical.
Oh, hey, this kind of stuff lights a fire in people, and so it should, because it's just so deeply, deeply wrong, and it goes against our principles and our values as a nation. This is not the Kiwi way, right? And I think the only reason this is coming to fruition is because people have been whipped into frenzy of fear. And they're being sold a big story, and it's just a continuous, they're being drip fed information that's keeping them confused and keeping them in fear, and they want to go back to normal. And I'm afraid I don't think that normal even exists anymore. We've passed that. We need to break through to something else. There's choices that people are going to have to make, because there's two worlds forming. And I think, if we're not busy creating the one that we want, then we are going to be living the one that's being made for us, but not really for us, So it's such an important time to do what you said, create that vision, within this dystopia that's unfolding. We need to create that new vision, and that's what, people are attracted to, the KOTAHITANGA, the unity, because that's the stability, and that resonates deeply, to our souls.
My problem, is that going shopping, it takes me hours to get out of there, because everybody wants to talk to me. And I mean, it's a real pain. It's a real pain, the blessed assurance, because I'm only supposed to take a half an hour, and then 3 hours later I come out but the beauty about it is, okay, you've got to think micro, because this is how it is. The macro vision is the nation is segregated. How can you change it micro level?
Yeah.
Break it down. I'll tell you how. Walk up to somebody and say, did you know on Friday we're going to have segregation, and it's going to be justified by way of the vaccination pass? And I want to tell you something. I have had talks with people. I've had arguments. And the ironic thing, this is the ironic thing. They all said, don't bloody get vaccinated. I said, I am vaccinated. That's not the issue. I'm standing for the rights of peoples, because this is immoral. This is an injustice. This is BS. This is out of order. I said, we are a nation of one peoples, and I will not sit back and allow any other Kiwi get treated in such a way that is demoralizing, puts them down. I said, I won't allow that. Because why? We're in a time of equal rights. We're in a time in which, now the beauty about it, being a smiley actually helps, because you go around and you've got this big happy face going on. You know what I mean? And everybody loves a smiley, and you know, they all love a smiley. So you go to be honest, it's a real good technique.
Yeah, Jacinda uses it a bit.
But you know, the beauty about it is that it's like, you know, I want to say this. See, I believe in dimensions, and this is what I believe. I found why Smiley was really here. And that was to stand up for equal rights. I found out what my real calling is. To see reconciliation and harmony. You know, that's what's happened. And hey, you know, in Auckland here, I do all the biggest events, the America's Cup, the whole lot. I do them all. And you know, here I am suddenly arguing with people.
Yeah, the irony,
it's like, you know, but the beauty is I have influence, you see, and so, you know, and even online, I've never had so much pushback, even when I've gone on to into the groups, and they swear at me. They say, go and bloody get vaccinated, you. And you know, because they think, you see, now this has actually worked out well, because I'm standing for the rights of everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
You see the position, and because I'm in the position I am, so it's worked out that way. So, you know, I'm out there and you know, and doing this stuff. So it can take a long time going shopping. It can take a long time going anywhere. It can go, because the first question they say to me, why do you carry that message? That's what they say. And I said, because it's all about KOTAHITANGA. It's all about oneness, unity. It's all about ARHOA nui. It's all about love. And I said, I am concerned that we've become a two-class system. And because prejudice is cultured in a two-class system. And I said, I could not sit back. So I'm going around as an ambassador of equal rights.
Yeah.
Hey, you remember when you spoke to me last week and you speak to me this week? I'm a different person, man. I'm out there. I'm not smoking pot. I'm just out there, man. And it's because I found my calling. What is my calling? To stand with people like yourself and everybody. The holistic people dig me. They think I'm famous, and you know. And
well, I thank you so much. I thank you so much, because we need people who are able to bridge those two worlds now, because there's, you know, this division has been created, and it's, when I say created, I mean it's been created, you know, on purpose. But we need people who can hold that space for everybody, you know, because the separation is happening, and there's wakas forming, you know, everywhere. But we need to make sure that that space for everybody is there for when people realize, you know, and we need to come back together, because the way people are being pushed apart, families, friendships, work, business relationships are all being totally shattered for many people. So holding this central space where we, KOTAHITANGA and ARHOA nui, are the principles by which we operate. And I'm not afraid of you. If you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, I love you. You
That's
know?
right. Now you've hit the key. I love you, because love doesn't have fear.
That's right. Yeah.
Love. Right. Now the beauty about it is the real virus is segregation.
Yeah, and the fear.
You see what's happened. Now, okay, I'm going to give you a case in point here. Imagine what's going to be in the libraries of the schools.
Yeah.
Can we trust having our mokos, our children, in the schools. Imagine the council culture that's going to be there. Imagine how that, you see where I'm going. Because now, if the word is, now you got to see it. Use this in your bloody argument. The word is justified. They have justified segregation. Boom. They have justified segregation. And so can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, I'm in places like I was in, stationery, warehouse stationery. And so I ended up in there arguing with this guy because I walked up to him and I said, can I ask you a question? And he said, oh, yeah, because they see the smile and they think I'm going to ask a nice question. And that's the deception. Don't tell anyone.
Smile, still genuine.
And then I said to him, are you happy where our nation is going and how on Friday we are justifying segregation? And he looked at me and he said, well, just bloody get jabbed. Ooh. And you can see the anger.
Yeah.
And I said, it's that attitude that divides us. So I'm having all these arguments, I'm having all these arguments, but now there's a science behind that, because what I'm really doing is I'm breaking negative vibrations. You see, and what you've got to do in anything, you've got to go onto the offensive, but do it with style. Put a smile on you, and then it makes it hard for them to dislike you. But so I've been asking that question every time they're serving me. Every time I'm saying to them, would you serve me if I was unvaccinated? What a question.
Yeah.
And then they look at me and they say, well, it would depend on what the boss has to say. They deflect that because they can't answer that. I'm going to be straight. No disrespect, forgive my vocab. I've got the balls to know what's happening in the country. They're being misled and they're being conditioned. So my job is, it's how you do it. You see, so I've gone on the offensive. So create a crazy trade system where you don't make a cent, but you make a cent. Because what happens, you see what I mean? Do you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
And, like that scenario with the person that said, I want $200 worth of stickers. And I said to them, $200 worth. I said, well, that would be 16 stickers. But if you want to support our vision, then you can have 12 stickers and koha us the rest. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you now, that's $58 koha.
Yeah, cool.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? And then what else is happening is others are putting in a koha, and it's got in the reference unity.
Yeah, awesome.
They're putting in unity, and I'm seeing this. So it's logical. Okay, so what it is we're in an era where there is uncertainty, where there's mistrust, where you don't know where to look, who you can trust. So what do you have to do? You have to build trustworthiness. You have to build confidence. Now, how are you going to do it? Do a crazy, outlandish economic system where, in a sense, you don't make a cent, but you do, because the koha, by the way, when they give a koha, okay, that's exempt GST. So can you hear what I'm trying to say? Now, absolutely. I would go to bed one night and wake up with an outlandish economic plan that sounded stupid. Now, I'm not to say that everybody should copy that. It works for equal rights because of the climate we're in and because of who I am. And because I need to set a standard out there and say to people, we don't mind if you get a sticker and we don't make a cent, because we really want that sticker on the doors. We really want you to walk around with the t-shirts, because it's important that everybody sees that you're making a statement.
That's
but
right.
The thing is, this is what I am doing. Okay, it's one thing to have the t-shirt, but then you've got to know the rhetoric that goes with it, how to bring the message.
Yep.
So, because why? Because I know what happened. People just say, you go into the store and the lady who's serving you, they're saying, why are you wearing that t-shirt with that message? And so I'd end up basically preaching to the shop and telling them about equal rights. We've got to stand for equal rights and things like that. And then next thing, they're giving me their card and they want to be a part of the movement. And they want t-shirts for all the staff.
Yeah, cool.
Can you understand? Awesome. Now, this is how we've got to do it. We're influencing without having a placard going on the street. And I'll be honest, I'm going to be honest, no disrespect. I've interviewed a lot of people. I'm at a lot of the events oftentimes because I like just interviewing the people that are out there, meaning their hearts and passions are there. But I can tell you, government doesn't listen to it.
Yes.
You know why? No disrespect. Just watch me. They go, they don't care. When you're out there protesting, they said, say what? As if I should listen to you. You see, that's their attitude. But, okay, now we create a new system. We create a system within the system. We create an outlandish economic one. We get interviewed by Brian. And he said, you're a bloody idiot. What do you mean that you're selling for what you actually get it? But Ryan, listen to me. There are people out there who want to be a part of the vibration of this movement because they believe in equal rights. And Ryan, we've got to stand up for the underdog. We can't be in that. And you see what I mean? And then they understand, you know what I'm saying? So what's happening is, and this is not a lie, this is real. So besides the trading ones, which is kohas here, kohas here, kohas there, and then the kohas just going straight into the account because people, they want to be part of it. And do you know what? To climax this, I do the worst thing that you're not supposed to do according to the textbook of Jacinda. And it is, I'm bloody having selfies with the unvaxxed.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? And you know how you're supposed to do the elbow? I'm going, give me one of these, and we're going like that, you know what I mean? And you know, so I'm not but the beauty is, I need to be identified with the underdogs. I am hurt that our nation is going this way. So I wake up one morning and I think, I've got to do something. I can feel the mamai, the hurt.
Yeah.
And I can't sit back and lie in this pumpkin bread and not do something. I'm too intelligent. I've got skills that are outstanding. And I thought, I've got to use it for the people. I've got to use it for the nation. I've got to use it because this is a true story. My whānau, in terms of my connections, and Te Whiti o Rongomai was a poropiti, a prophet in Parihaka. They did a passive resistance. I'm of that lineage. I'm doing a continuum, Asha, of that. Because why? Because I'm doing a passive resistance. And I'm doing a continuum of Te Whiti o Rongomai. My father, you know, all that linear, all that. Can you imagine? And I don't want to sound spooky. I feel that legacy. Beautiful. I feel, you know, I've had ones that have said to me, the tupunas have chosen you, Smiley. They have chosen you. You've been elected. So here I am, the outlandish Smiley, arguing, upsetting, going in there, doing everything that I shouldn't do, but doing it with a smile.
That's
And getting away with it. So this is the way forward for us. Now, this is what's going to happen. It's a prognosis, it's a prediction. Okay, we get up there and protest. Government gives you the fingers. Okay, it's just how it is. I'm not going to be put it anyway. That's what they'll do. But this is what we do. We create this. Then the Ryans want to interview. Then the different ones. Then what happens is the popularity, the outlandishness, the charisma, the Māori and Māori, starts happening. And then suddenly they look over and then they realise there's something outside of the Orthodox.
Yeah. There's
something happening outside of the Orthodox, and they realise it's a threat. It's a threat. But you see, this is how it all works. When you got lots of darkness, all you have to do is turn the bloody light on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
The light on. And then what happens when the light comes on, it will dispel the darkness. So I'm in my calling. The Smiley has found what it was really called to do. What I'm really called to do. And what am I called to do? I'm called to stand for the rights of the underdog and the underprivileged, and to say no to segregation, say no to the fact that I'm going to allow nation, and say yes to the fact of equal rights, yes to the fact of KOTAHITANGA. Now, KOTAHITANGA has to be explained right, because number one, it means oneness. So we, KOTAHITANGA, according to Māori paradigm and even a Christian paradigm, it is about oneness of purpose, oneness of message, oneness of wairua, spirit, oneness of soul. You know, you can meet people, you've never known them, but yet you're one. Can you understand that? I meet people and I say, I didn't meet you in a dream, but I now know we were supposed to meet. And it was supposed, yes, you hear what I mean? So I'm in that dimension. I'm in that dimension. I believe in that. I've used these dimensions to be very, very effective in business. Now I'm using them for the cause of that's needed today. So the word is justified. That's the threat. They went and justified segregation. When you're justified, you have peace of mind. So what happens? They're all walking around the country saying, oh, we've got peace of mind. Oh, yeah, that don't trust, don't have them over at Christmas. And then you get the Andrew Littles, and he is a bit little. And okay, you get the Andrew Littles. Oh, it's terrible. And you get the Andrew Littles. Okay, Ryan says to him, okay, you have 40 of your whānau over your place for Christmas. And then how should you approach it within the traffic light system? And then he said, and I heard this, he said, don't invite them. Yeah. Don't have unvaccinated people in your house.
So can I ask you, how do you think people should respond to this? People whose this message resonates, you know, how do you think they should respond? You know, what should they do at Christmas time? What should they do on Friday, on December 3rd, you know?
Well, what they bloody need to do is get one of my stickers and say you're all welcome. and this is what I believe. Because in Māoridom, you know, like often every time you have a hui, they always start in karakia. Why do they do that? According to Māori paradigm, we know we can't do some things in our own strength. And we need to look to higher authorities. Now, there may be people listening and they're thinking, well, you know, our higher authority is according to the Mormon Church. Well, kia ora, tino pai. Well, our higher authority is according to the Muslims. Now, I know some will go, hey, Smiley, you shouldn't be. And yeah, kia ora to that. Because I believe Aotearoa at this time is wanting to listen to everybody, because the key word is inclusive. We're all included. So when I say that, so some and get one of my pumpkin stickers and get one of my t-shirts and start being bold about it and start saying, I'm going to love. I'm not going to allow the rhetoric of what government says to become the culture of what I am about. My DNA rests going back generations. It's like I said to you, my whanaungatanga, all that concept is connected to Te Whiti o Rongamai, who was the prophet back in Parihaka, and they did a passive resistance, him and Tohu. Yes, they went to prison for it. It cost them. But they did a passive resistance. I'm part of that lineage, and I'm doing a continuum of that kaupapa, but I'm doing it with a smile. It's a passive resistance. I ain't looking at getting guns so we can shoot them down. I'm not looking at that. But I tell you what, they wouldn't want to annoy me. It's the way we do it. It's
That's
how
right.
you do it in clever. You've got to do it in clever. And to be honest, that's why I'm training people and I'm saying, okay, these are the key lines. You have to have these lines. So if they come in at that angle, you've got to be able to answer it with this angle. You've got to be able to say it there. Because otherwise, if you can't win an argument, you just lost the battle. So there's a way of being able to do it, and there's a way of, like, okay, I'll give you a case in point. I'm sitting in my kitchen. My friend said to me, well, you know, COVID, because of COVID, and he said that. And I said, no, Taiho, it's not because of COVID, it's because of management of COVID.
Yeah.
And he pushed forward and he went, yeah, that's right. And I said, management of COVID. You see, we've used COVID as a scapegoat. Oh, because of COVID. Ah, because of COVID. Ah, because of COVID. Ah, because of COVID. It's got nothing to do with it. And because of management of COVID, you know, then things are like they are. So we have to understand this. My concern, and I know this is a prophecy, it's going to be serious where we're ending. This segregation is just the beginning. It's just the beginning of the justification that's coming in this nation to segregate. Now, I'm going to say this, and even to my own people, I get hard with them because at the moment they're journeying down the same, you know, line as same route as they're hearing of government. They're just becoming, you know, a echo of what government says.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll just kill that. Oh no, are you there live? I'm on a Zoom. Can't keep that. Okay, so what was I saying is that for my own people, and so you're seeing this, and so they're saying, and so they're repeating, and I'm going to be straight with you. Do the audit trail, and you'll figure out where are they getting their puti, where are they getting their money? Government. Oh, well, we better echo what government says, otherwise they'll cut us off. Well, I want to say to you now, I'm doing a system outside of, I don't want any government funding. I don't want $1 of government because it's tied to, you have to do this if we give you funding. Oh, yeah, ka kite ARHOA, it ain't going to happen. Now, we have to think this way. So if you can't go on the deep end, then don't bother trying to take this on. Stay in the shallow. But if you're really going to mean business, jump in the deep end. But the beauty is we're going to have leadership. We're going to have people who have know-how. We're going to have inspired methodologies. We're going to have systems within systems. We're going to have all that. And what will happen is this, going back to, and no disrespect, if we get out on the street, then what will happen is too often government just looks at them and say, as if we're going to listen to that. And therefore, we have to do it within being witty. But then by doing these certain techniques, and suddenly the popularity of it gets through. I have no doubt that equal rights is a movement. And the best thing that could have happened was what's happening now. Because it needed to happen in order for equal rights to put up its hand and say, you think so? You see what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
It had to happen, and that's the paradox. It's because it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But you know where the calling comes into it, and I say this providentially, where the calling comes, it had to happen so that ones could be called into position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I see that. Yeah, absolutely. I think
you see what I mean. So that had to
many of
happen
us are
so
being
they could
called
reach
right
their
now.
calling.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to see ARHOA, the energy exchange of ARHOA, is the new currency for this, you know, new space that we're going to operate in. Because although many of these restrictions are being put on us and we don't like them, they are also like the pressure required to make the diamond, you know.
That's right.
They are forcing us, as you say, they create the conditions for what we need most, you know. Having a void of ARHOA means what do we most need to do is fill that void overflowing with ARHOA more than there was, you know. So an absence of it is calling that into being. And so, you know, people are, I think, being activated all across the board: healers, warriors, educators, media people, leaders, gardeners, all of these things we need, and these connections are being made, but we're being deprived in some ways. So we're having to forge new pathways,
That's
you
right.
know, in order to make our way through that. And the old system, which we weren't happy with anyway, we weren't happy with it. There was so many times we couldn't fix it. We were trying to fix it for so long. How many decades have people been trying to fix these broken systems that never ever improve and have only got worse? You know, and if that's not testament to the fact that that system is so broken, it just needs to collapse. You know, you can't go in there and fix it. You see what happens when someone with political aspirations to help their people gets into that system. They become trapped in that system, and
because
their energy
what you just said there is important to note, because they get trapped in the system. See, too often we think, oh, we need to start a political party. That's not the way. The way I believe is you create an organic community voice, and it becomes a portal of transformation. I mean, I know this stuff because I live in it. I've been and do it. You know, this is bread and butter for me because I live in it. I know how to make this happen. I know how to work this, and I understand the science. I believe in the science. I believe in that there's a dimensions to which you can tap into. And until you understand those laws, especially at this time, this had to happen. If it weren't for the racial tension, you wouldn't have had a Martin Luther King. If it weren't for apartheid, you wouldn't have had a Mandela.
Yeah.
So it had to happen. So if you didn't have segregation in New Zealand, you wouldn't have had a Smiley.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
You hear what I'm saying? So suddenly I found my calling. So I'm walking around, I'm going, oh my God, I found my calling. I have another argument. And then I'll be talking to someone I know. And then I say, oh, look, hey, say prayers for me, because I'll probably have a few arguments today. I'm going to Sylvia Park. and don't be afraid of that. You see, don't be afraid of that. And you see, the worst thing you could do is get somebody like me. And I go straight to the counter and I said, would you serve me if I was unvaccinated?
Straight to the point.
and they look at me and well, I'm going to say this. Most of them don't know. They don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, the greatest threat today is ignorance.
Yes.
They actually don't know. So what's happening is I'm talking to them and I said, well, you know, on Friday that we're going into a segregation time because it's going to be justified that we're going to now have a segregation within this nation by way of a vaccination pass. And do you understand that? And they look at me as if they wouldn't have a clue. And I think, you know, smell the coffee, you whore.
Yes.
And so what we're dealing with, we're really dealing with this. And so it is a time of leadership. It's a time so this had to happen. This had to happen. This had to happen because it would bring an emergence of a true voice. A vibration of transformation would take place in this crisis period to which we've now been hit. Okay, we're at Wednesday. Friday, boom, it's a traffic light, and then it's a vaccination pass. So the government are not, they just say, oh yeah, the unvaccinated will be restricted. They're not allowed to go to concerts. They're not allowed to go to movies. The only way they can get onto a plane is they have to go and get a test 3 days before they fly out. And then they have to get another test to hop back on the plane to fly back. Now, by the way, this is how stupid it is. Now, this is how, I'm going to be straight. The unvaxxed can't go to church. A lot of churches now, you have to have a vaccination to go to say your prayers. Yeah. You know where I'm going, and it's that serious. A lot of shops are jumping on board, and they're saying we only want the vaccinated in our store. If you don't have a pass, then walk past.
Yeah.
Because you're not welcome here. So now the key word is justified. It's been justified because of why? Government. So, okay, you just outwit the system. You just outwit it. You know what I mean. It's how you go around it. It's how you get your message across. It's all those scenarios. So this is how it is. When you walk into my door, you get a sticker and it says vax and unvaxxed are welcome in this whare, and welcome here, and even on the stickers were costing $15 each, the first batch I got. And then I said, look, come to the bloody party. So it went down to 12.
Yeah,
and then suddenly I was ordering 40 here, this there. And they said, oh, man, you're incredible. And now I said, we need hundreds. Now I'm going to say another thing. Equal rights needs to explode in Australia too. So it's the kaupapa, because you create a template, a blueprint, and then it can be copied in other places. So therefore, it's just an easy system. So I've already said to them, I said, look, I've been buying hundreds and thousands of these stickers. So I said, and they said, oh, well, we may as well just work for you. I'm not ruling that out. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we're on the same page. But what's driving this is koha.
Yes.
Isn't that brilliant? Woo-hoo-hoo!
Before we finish up, there was something that we spoke about last time. You mentioned seeing a church group having an outside sermon. Yes. Under a gazebo, and the idea that we need to shift beyond the walls.
That's right.
And that is one way that we can adapt to, to dealing with this. But that's also kind of beneficial, it becomes a lot more high vis. You're out in nature with people, congregating outside, I think, is a very powerful statement. And even just doing things outside of walls and thinking outside of that box that we've been, kept in, really.
That's right. Well, our whole discussion has been in that vein. Yeah. It's been in that vein because we're talking about without wall scenarios. Without wall scenarios. That's what we're talking about. Absolutely. It is true that we do have to think, but isn't it ironic? You see, I believe there's sometimes, intellectual property is a very powerful thing. It's the greatest gift that ARHOA gave us, was the ability to create. And I'm on my bike, and then I see them, they're having a church service outside. And then, well, number one, I interrupted the whole service because I started saying, hey, bring it on, go on. Even the worship leader, because he's up there and he's a bit of a character too. And then I said, oh, you're a bit of a humble guy, I noticed. You know, that was tongue in cheek. I said, you must have some Māori blood in you. Next thing, they're all laughing away. And then I said, this is the way forward. You know, let's think out without walls. And so I interrupted the whole. So God didn't mind, because there's an interruption only for, he allowed the advert. And I say, let's have fun. Strengthen the immune system with a smile. Happiness is important. Find a reason to smile. I was interviewed when we first went into our lockdowns last year, and we're in level 4, and the media contacted me. And they said, Smiley, what does Smiley do when we're in lockdown level 4? And I said, I always try and find a reason to smile. It went in the paper. And they said, Smiley says he always finds a reason to smile. And that's really a law. But the immune system needs to be strengthened. Why? Because as you know, I mean, look what's happened. They got another virus from South Africa. When's the next one going to come from? And, you know, now this is incredible. You know how jabs were supposed to be every 6 months? They're now every 3 months.
Is that right?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was sent to me and I read it and I said, oh my gosh. Well, because why? Because they want to tackle this other variant. So what's happening is everything's a knee-jerk, another variant. Oh, don't need to have another boost. Don't need to have another boost. They need to, every 3 months we have to have boost. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's getting like that. And as you know, fear is not a good servant. No, it is a good servant. It's not a good friend. You don't want to have fear as, you know, you need to have it as a servant so that it serves you rather than dominate you.
That's right.
Because you can't make it a friend. But this is what's happening. It's the rhetoric. Now you get conditioned and it affects your whole cultural dimension, how you think, how you act, what you do.
That's right, yeah.
Because what happens is, and so you're getting this scenario. It's a sad day. It's probably the worst day of New Zealand is the 3rd of December. We're going to justify segregation in the nation of New Zealand. It's out of order.
Yeah.
It's out of order. It's the saddest day of this country's history, outside of 1840. I had to throw that in. And,
well, except it will spark. It will spark people like us, you know, to create something different. And
well, look, we wouldn't be talking unless this were happening.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fact that it happened is it's doing it. But it's all these little wee, and I wouldn't have started this outlandish, you know, economic system. I wouldn't have started it, you know, and it was off the wall. And it was because one morning I woke up and I just felt it just, now this is another guideline. Go by your heart.
Yeah.
Let it, sometimes it's just your heart says it. Sometimes you can argue about it. You can argue this, just go by your heart. So everything I've done is by the heart. So equal rights didn't even exist 2 weeks ago. Now it exists. Now it's pushing down. And I just went by my heart and I thought I have to do something. I cannot sit back and allow our nation go the way it's going. So if you listen to your heart, which is your conscience, it's the voice of your conscience, really, it's deep down there. If you listen to that, I think that's the way to start. I am concerned we've got some major issues that are going to happen in the nation. And by the way, there's going to be a major pushback. I'm getting I'm getting to the place now that even I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, I better lock the doors, you know, when I'm going out, all that sort of thing. Because why? Because now I'm suddenly standing up for equal rights and that, but they're reading it. This is how they're reading it. I'm anti-vax.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, they reading it like that. And
Yes.
so equal rights, they're reading it like that. So that's why I didn't put a sticker on my letterbox, because I thought, oh, that's advertising vandalism to come along. And I didn't want to put one on my car, because I thought if I put one on my car, that's it. The car's going to get robbed. So I thought I'll put it on my door, and you know, because you're processing things. If you're not wanting to be a threat, then don't do this stuff, because you go on the offensive as soon as you start doing it.
Well, for me, you know what? That's why ARHOA is the key word.
Yes.
If that sticker said ARHOA on your car or on your letterbox,
That's right.
the vibration is different and it receives a different reaction. And when you truly teach people or help them understand what ARHOA is, and exactly how you said, their heart is the guide to that, then they understand that discrimination, that bullying, that fear, coercion, bribery, all of these things that are happening is not okay. There's no place for it. No. So that moving forward with that ARHOA and helping people connect with that, like my friend Barbara Bell just says, living from the heart, you know, that's where you live from. You're always there in that space, and that's your navigation system for how to deal, you know, with life and the world and each other. So when you approach things with that, then there's no space for that negativity. There's no space for those other things. So I think that's a key message moving forward, is to drop down into your heart. You know, that's your best friend right there. That's your guidance system, and it will help you to navigate everything, literally everything, every situation, you know, and build beautiful relationships along the way. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we should probably wrap up so that it's not too long, but you know, I think people would maybe like if I let them know how to get in touch with you in the description on the YouTube video, and then they can, you know, if they want to order stickers, you know, or get in touch with you, and maybe your Facebook page we can put down there so that they can connect, if that's cool.
Okay, it's info, INFO, at Smiley, SMILEY, campaign, CAM, campaign, AIGN.com. And that way they'll get my email address, and I think that's the safest way of dealing with it. Then I just send links.
Yep.
I send links, and then they get a link, and then and we get on the same page. And what I need is people. I mean, like these stickers. See, this is what happened. I've had somebody from Papakuta. They go visit. I don't know. She contacts me because she's in Papakuta. She goes to a store, and then suddenly now that store wants one of the stickers. Because why? Because he wants to be known as the vaxxed and the unvaxxed are welcome in his store, and he wants to be visible. Well, I don't know how many stores now that she's got lined up in Papakuta. So you can really see how this is all going, and then somebody else contacts me, and it's just stickers. They want to make it visible, and you know, and that sort of scenario. And so it's wonderful, that sort of thing. It's organically happening, and it's happening because people are just, but I love it when other people are out there being like me, you know, like asking questions and saying, would you serve an unvaxxed person that walked into your store? That's how straight you have to do it. You have to say it that way. You have to say, would you serve? And of course, in my situation, you know, and because I got a bit of tongue in cheek and can't trust me. And so I walk in and I go straight up to them and I say, if I was unvaxxed, would you serve me? And they look at me like, shit, you know, and I said, that's where we're going as a nation. There's going to be officers and they're going to be monitoring it. And if I was unvaccinated and you served me, then you may find you'll get fined $15,000. That's the seriousness of it. That's the beauty about it, we're going to laugh all the way through.
Yeah.
And that's what I love
right.
So that's info at smileycampaign.com. That's the best way. And then what happens is then I just send a link and then we can communicate. That connection, and then we do it by email is the best way. And then I've also got Smiley Campaign, which is actually my page, which is very popular. That has thousands that are following that. And Smiley Campaign, which is actually a Facebook commercial page. And so there's that also. So there's both of those. And I tell you what, we could change the world.
Absolutely.
Just this morning's conversation was there. It's in the zone. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah. One of many more to come, hopefully. And I think you know, need to keep connecting with like-minded people and sparking other people's lights, you know, and helping those people who know that it's not right, but they don't feel empowered enough to move, you know, because I think a lot of people are in that situation, you know, where they're not happy with what's happening, but they just don't know how to move forward. So seeing more people like us talking about it and doing it is what will help them along the way.
And the beauty is, if I may say, we're speaking in an intelligent way. There's not an aggression. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's not an aggression. It's a bit of a laugh, a bit of this, a bit of, you know what I mean, a bit of happiness, but there's love involved. There's all this sort of, you know, but there's no anger. I'm not saying, okay, we're going to put together have your placards ready. We're going to do this, and it's in a different space. And I'm not saying that that's all negative, because I've been down, hey, when they had freedom here in Auckland, I was walking with them down the main street when they were doing that. I was filming them all, interviewing people and all that sort of thing. So I'm not here to do disrespect. I'm just saying we've got to be clever about how we let our message be known.
Yeah. With that said, would you kindly maybe close our conversation today with a karakia?
Okay. E tō matu te rangi kia tapu tu e noi kia tai mai te rangatiratanga kia miti tau e pai ai kia runga ki te whenua. E o atua, we just thank you for this wonderful crucible, for this absolute, and Friday, yes, they're going to say it's Vaccine Passport Day, but I just want to say it's Equal Rights Celebration Day. Bring it on. And so, you want to help us when we have to argue every now and again, but forgive us when we're arguing, and bring more to join the kaupapa, because it's going to be the volume of voices united as one community, one voice portal that's going to make the transformation. And we do pray for those in high positions. Even Andrew Little, forgive me, Andrew. You have to watch what you say, mate, especially when you have a Smiley in media watches you. And even our Jacinda, we pray for that. So, Lord, e watua, we thank you in the name of Iu Karaiti. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Well, you have an amazing day, my friend, and I look forward to seeing more of your videos and your conversations with people, and you know, you're spreading the joy, but also asking the important questions. And I look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Kia kaha.
All right. Thank you.
Aroha nui.
Aroha nui.
Love
Bye-bye.
you.
You too.